Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the Dynamic Dilettante. I think it's been a couple of weeks since we've been live, but we've got a lot to talk about. We went and saw the new Jurassic Park movie this last week. When we go late last week, last Thursday, or was it Wednesday? Oh no, I won't bring up what happened. We went Thursday to go see Jurassic Park Dominion.
Here's the thing: if you can't laugh about it, you got to maximize on it. I got the tickets, and for some reason, I just swore up and down that movie was on Wednesday, even though it released Thursday. We got an early viewing for Thursday,
and I should have known. I didn't even think about it because we've gone to see a movie or two on Thursday.
Yeah,
and you said Wednesday, and I just didn't even think about it, and I should have caught that for you. I felt bad.
We had a good dress rehearsal. We got all the way to the movie theater, try scanning. I'm scanning my phone in to try and get my tickets, and it's just like wrong date. Yep. And I'm like, no, I bought the dang things. And then, well, yeah.
So then I said, okay, because I promised her we'll go see the movie, and then let me buy you dinner after. So we go out to get dinner, and what you just had soup. That was all you had.
Well, I was planning on seeing a movie and being hungry by the time we got done.
Well, we did go Jurassic World Dominion. It was in theaters, and I thought we had a good time. I will tell you this, honestly, it was really, really terrific for me to see the original cast of Jurassic Park. I've not been a fan so much of the Jurassic World movies. They're okay. I've watched them, and they're all right. I thought it was great entertainment. I certainly love Chris Pratt, and so I wasn't too enthusiastic. Well, I was really fired up to see the cast of Jurassic Park coming back for this movie, and they were terrific. But I just thought it was kind of a slow starter. It took a little bit of time to get going. You had the Jurassic World cast, then it's the Jurassic Park cast, and then the two casts kind of come together. And I thought that's when the movie started picking up. And that's when it really had some legs and it started moving. So I enjoyed it. It's not one I'd go out. I would have to honestly say, I don't think that's one I'd go out of my way to go see again.
See, and now I would rather go see that one than a number of the other ones we went and saw. I didn't see the second Jurassic World movie. I only saw the original set and then Jurassic World, the first one, and I kind of missed the second one with Chris Pratt and all them. But I liked it. I mean, like I said, yeah, it was a bit of a slow burn to get everybody in the same geographic location. Yes. P.S. Yes, there are going to be some spoilers with this one, so if you haven't seen it, this is your fair warning. There are spoilers in this review. I thought they did a good job. There was a lot of, not necessarily Easter eggs, but there was a lot of things that they were showing that came from the original movie or some of the earlier movies.
Oh yeah. And I enjoyed that.
Yeah. I thought that I was good. Some people were kind of critical of like the whole premise that got them there in the first place. I'm like, the locusts are kind of a weird thing, but
yes,
you get where they were going with it. And overall, I mean, it's what do you want out of a Jurassic Park movie? You want dinosaurs, you want action, and you want to see all the casts that you've been seeing for, almost 30 years now.
That's true. That's true. And I thought they did a good job with that, honestly. And there were ties, if you are a fan of the original Jurassic Park, and which I am. I'm a huge fan of the original Jurassic Park. There was something about that movie, the newness of that movie at the time that it came out, 30 years ago?
29.
Yeah, 29.
Because it came out in 1993.
Yeah, thanks for making me feel better.
I was 6 when it came out, if that really makes you feel bad.
No, because it was on my 30th birthday that it came out. I went to go see it on my 30th birthday. But there was a newness about that movie, and Steven Spielberg had not only produced it, he was directing it. And when he directs a movie, his films, I think, have got an extra punch to them generally.
With the exception of Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skulls. We just don't even talk about that.
That's like the one James Bond guy, Timothy Dalton. We just don't watch those films. But the original Jurassic Park, there was something really special about that at the time that it came out. You know, it was the first time they relied hard on digital effects. They were pretty outstanding in that film. And I have thought that franchise has been running to catch up with that original for the last 30 years.
James from YouTube says he went and saw it. It was fine. He's over these legacy films where it's like, hey, you remember this from the first movie? If I wanted to see that, I would just go watch the first. Well, James, you're in store because we're going to be talking about some more stuff that's right up your alley. But
I don't think that's what James is saying. I don't think that's going to be the appeal to a guy like me.
No.
Because a guy like me went and saw Jurassic Park, not on home video a dozen times. I saw it in the movie theater when it first came out. So when they show, for instance, the Barbasol can that Nedry had tried to take and was going to steal, some of the DNA and sell it off. And when they showed that didn't take anything away from the action.
No.
And if you didn't know what it was, it's no big deal. But if you knew what it was, that was one of those things that made me smile in that movie. So I would disagree. I think if you were there and in the movie theater at the time that a film like that came out, you would respond to that. I certainly did. It was one of the things I enjoyed.
Well, in addition to that, the main Biosyn evil guy, he was killed the same way Nedry was, by the same type of dinosaurs.
Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right.
In addition to the Barbasol can, so.
Did you like that character? It was kind of a goofy, but I've got to say I kind of enjoyed that character. I would have liked to have known more about what it was that was driving him.
Money.
We didn't really kind of figure that out.
Well, like anything else, he's a corporate person. Money. Come on, Greg. You know who he reminded me of? He looked like Tim Cook from Apple.
Yes. Yeah, he did kind of. I would agree.
At first, I thought that was Tim Cook who had done like a cameo, but I'm like, no, that's not Tim Cook.
No. I've seen that guy. I forget his name, but I've seen him in other stuff before. Yeah. So I did enjoy it, but again, I thought it was, for me, and I would say I'm probably not a typical moviegoer. In fact, I know I'm not, because I'm far older than most average moviegoers. They're much younger than I am. So there's going to be an attraction to those Jurassic World characters for a whole generation of fans. And so it would make sense then to start the movie with those characters first. As I thought about it, but I just thought it took a little time to get going. Once it got rolling, it was pretty good.
It's Campbell Scott. That's who you're thinking of. I like it. I mean, like I said, I didn't go into it with super high expectations either, though. I mean, I understood, okay, we've had 6 films now?
Right.
So I'm like, it's kind of like Star Wars. I don't have high expectations. I just wanted to see dinosaurs. I wanted to see the people from the former casts back on screen again. Like Sam Neill and Laura Dern and everything. I wanted to see all those people back together.
Yes.
I think they did it great. Jeff Goldblum came back. He was really good. I think, as far as what he's done in previous Jurassic Park movies, I thought it was good. But maybe
I wish they would have used him a little bit more. I was a little bit disappointed. I would have liked to have seen more of that character that Goldblum plays. But I think he has become such a character on screen anyway that I just think he's fun to watch as an actor.
Right. And so I like I said, I didn't, maybe I've just learned to lower my expectations, and then I'm not. If you lower your
That's
expectations,
wise.
then you're not disappointed. Because I mean, there have been so many movies we've seen recently that have just, it's another
I'll tell you,
one.
I talked to somebody else today. A guy that I work with went and saw Top Gun over the weekend. He couldn't say enough good things about it. Said it was absolutely incredible.
But and that's I mean, and that's what I've heard. Is Top Gun is great. But I'm just saying from what we've seen, because the last good movie we've seen before Jurassic Park was Batman. I mean, that was the last good movie we saw, in my opinion.
You were. Spider-Man was pretty good too.
Yeah,
Spider-Man: No Way Home.
I couldn't remember. I think we saw that before Batman.
Okay. And what was the other one?
And I think
I know you were not a big fan of the Multiverse
Strange?
of Madness.
No.
Yeah, Doctor Strange too.
No, I had my hopes up too much for that one because again, I'm a really big Doctor Strange fan. But I think, if you look at the first movie in the Jurassic Park series versus the last one, I mean, the first one, there was so much new stuff that they were doing between the animatronics. Yes. I mean, that's when they still had that History Channel movie on, or Discovery. I can't remember which channel had it. Movie Magic or Movie Marvels or something like that.
Marvels, I think.
Yeah, and they're going through and explaining how they got, the T-Rexes and stuff to move, and how they had to worry about the water and stuff, and just with how touchy and stuff those all were. But the fact that they were able to put something like that together without a ton of computer generated stuff. I think IMG still had some
ILM.
That's
Industrial Light Magic.
Yep, I think ILM still did some work on the original, but
they did.
Whereas now, I mean, you can just all computer generated. So
right, and the first Jurassic Park, they were just starting to get into that, and that was one of the reasons that movie was just so magnificent. I thought it was incredible.
Yeah.
So the novelty of that certainly has worn off, which, but I must say I did enjoy it. It's one of those that I walked out. I was glad I had seen it, but as I said, I don't know that it's a film. It's not one of those where I've got to see it again and again and again.
No. But yeah, I was definitely happy to go see it though.
That was fun. We had a good time.
But James said he thinks the dinosaurs look better in the original than over this one.
Did they go on the cheap here? I mean, in terms of
well, here's where I think they might have looked better in the original versus what they did in this one. And it's kind of one of my criticisms I have with Obi-Wan too. When they're shooting a lot of these scenes, and I get it, they're at night. It's supposed to have, kind of a scarier feel to it. But a lot of the scenes in the original Jurassic Park were shot during the day.
Yeah, they were daytime
scenes. So you
scenes.
really were able to see the dinosaurs. You were able to see them move. Whereas like a lot of the dinosaurs in Jurassic World, it's dark. I mean, there are some scenes where they're during the day, but they're very fast. They're not,
they're
just
not
like
slow
these big,
and methodical and like, wow, look at this.
Right. Like the opening scene where they come into the park for the first and they see all I think they're dinosaurs or whatever they are, veggie eaters.
Yes.
But you really get to see them, you get to take it in, and obviously that was one of the things that Spielberg was probably trying to do with that, is just kind of slow that down, really set the tone and let people take that in. Whereas here it's like bam, 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 bam. And a lot of the films are shot at night.
Yeah, I didn't care for that.
And of course, those dinosaurs are not very vibrant, so they kind of blend in. I mean, like you can see when I did with the thumbnail today, I mean, it's really hard to pick out that T-Rex. Short of there not being light in there. But for me, I like being able, especially with that time, it was nice to be able to see them. Because it was something that hadn't, something to that level hadn't been done before.
No, absolutely not. And that was, and you just can't go back. I mean, in fairness, you can't turn the clock back and kind of recreate the newness of that.
Right. The novelty that's
yes, exactly
there. But I just, like I said, and that was one of my criticisms with Obi-Wan too, like the scene where they finally had brought Darth Vader and Obi-Wan together. it's all at night, whereas they're out on Tatooine, where it's very stark, and those dark figures.
You're in the desert, for heaven's sakes.
Right.
You know, sands everywhere, and it's bright, and two suns.
So, you know, when you have that really stark, dark character, I mean, they would really stand out. And again, I get, you know, it's set at night, whatever. I'm not a director.
Just
visually.
Yeah, but you should be.
No, but visually, it's more impactful.
I would agree. Absolutely.
So yeah, I totally get what James is saying, where the dinosaurs look better in the original than they did in this one, because again, the animations are so fast. It's kind of like what happened in Doctor Strange, though, too, is those animations are so fast, you don't really get a chance for your brain to catch up and see what's actually on screen.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of that is absolutely by design. They don't want you to be able to spot the flaws in what they're doing. And it makes for a lesser movie, in my opinion.
Steve makes a good point from YouTube. He says the dark covers the bad animations, which makes them look even worse. It is. It just looks like a muddy mess on screen. So yeah, that is probably one criticism I would have with it, is slow it down a little bit, bring back those, because that's really what made that movie special when it first came out.
And I think you could recreate that again. Show the majesty. And this movie is such now that you got dinosaurs all over the world.
Right.
The dinosaurs, you got dinosaurs that are flying and traveling all throughout the world. So it's like the world's trying to deal with this. How do we deal with all of these dinosaurs now? They're reproducing, you know.
They're out filled with swearing out or whatever.
And I think normalizing them like that, saying now they're just a part of everyday life, that was not the feeling you got, certainly not in Jurassic Park.
No.
It was the majesty of those creatures.
But, yeah. So, yeah, that's probably my one criticism with it. But like I said,
fun.
I like it.
Fun.
I like it.
There were things that I liked.
Yeah.
But again, I would just say I think it got off to kind of a slow start. But
yeah. I think that that chemistry, though, with like the original cast and stuff like that, that was still there. They worked well with the ones from Jurassic World. That was good. So yeah,
they knew each other. You know, the characters knew each other professionally. Hey, I know you, such and you know. So immediately there was kind of a familiarity between the characters, and that I thought that worked really well. And then of course they're all in danger, which tends to draw people together anyway.
Well, and it also helps drive the story a little bit too.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
So 2 bad signals for that one. 1 bad signal.
I'll give it 2. What did we talking on a scale of 5?
I don't know.
I
make this stuff up as I go. Come on, Greg.
I got that message. If we're saying out of 5, I would say a definite 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5?
Yeah.
I think I'd give it probably a 3.5 out of 5. Worth it. Go check it out. Or, you know, just wait until it comes out. Probably come out to Paramount. I don't know. Paramount or HBO. It'll come out to one of those
know.
two.
I mean, waiting until this is out on home video or streaming this, I don't think you really miss anything.
No. You wouldn't be waiting very long.
No, not really.
But.
Is that the dynamic director back there?
Yes, the dynamic director is not happy when I move the seat back. So, Strange New Worlds. Got another new episode last week.
Yeah. This one is called Lift Us Where Suffering Cannot Reach. And that show just keeps getting better and better.
Yep. Definitely like that one. You had Captain Pike with a new do this week.
He is. Listen, I'm the last guy to criticize anybody's hairstyle. So they're doing some pretty wild stuff with his hair. But he looks absolutely great. And I love that character. You know, each week, I think I complained a little bit the last show we did that it's been pretty light so far, I said, you know. Strange New Worlds has been a little bit light. I'm looking for it to get into more depth, to more substance. It certainly did that in this last episode. I think we got that more.
They're calling the new Pikes Peak.
Yeah.
But again, it's keeping to a formula that works really, really well, and it's worked well in the Star Trek franchise before. Is they're letting the characters drive the narrative of the story, and that's what they're using to move it forward. And
I would tell you, I mean, even looking back at other Star Trek franchises, you know, if I look back at Voyager and I look back at Deep Space Nine, I think what they've got going on in Strange New Worlds is better than both of those. And I would say, you know, we're getting to a point where some of the episodes are going to be rivaling even the Next Generation.
Yeah.
Some of them. Yeah.
Not the first 2 seasons.
Yeah, the first 2 seasons of Next Gen was not
It
very
left
strong.
some to be desired.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. I mean, I definitely still like the look of the ship, like what they're doing there. They keep it original. It's lighthearted, but yet there's still some substance to it. It's not all gloom and doom the whole time. It's not like Zack Snyder directed it.
Right. Well, like we were talking about Star Trek, The Next Generation, that it took several seasons for that show really to kind of find its way. This one is finding its way pretty quickly, pretty fast.
Well, wasn't it with Next Gen? It didn't really start finding its legs until Roddenberry kind of got out of it a little bit.
Yeah. And there are a lot of things about Gene Roddenberry that I admire, that I liked. He was skilled at a lot of things, but by the time Next Generation was coming around, and then he was having health problems, he was on the outs with Paramount. He was on the outs already with the motion pictures, because Star Trek 2, they all but kind of threw him out of having any say in Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan, at all. So he was kind of tossed to the curb, and it went on from there. And in fact, William Shatner in Star Trek Movie Memories, he said that Gene Roddenberry pretty much pitched the same film, movie after movie. So Star Trek 2, Star Trek 3, Star Trek 4, he was pitching the same ideas over and over all the way through the end, or up until his death. Yeah, it just didn't win people over.
No, and like I said, I don't know. I don't remember who the director of Strange New Worlds is, and but it works. Like I said, I don't know if they got such a sour taste in their mouth from, say, Discovery and some of the other more current series, where it's just like, we got to get this one right, and we got to go back to what works. I don't know if that was their thought process, but to me, it I don't know. I like it.
Well, it's a refreshing change for me as a Star Trek fan, because all too often, you've seen franchises that I was not enthusiastic about. I didn't think necessarily fit into the scheme of the show overall. Right.
And the other thing for me that works is it's been described by a lot of different people that it's, somebody who really got hooked on TOS. That one, they're going to be really liking it. Sorry, can't talk today. Humble.
I know that feeling. Yeah. So I thought they've done a pretty remarkable job with that show so far.
So now, if you can't, you got space fights, you got sci-fi, you got all that stuff going on, you would think you'd be able to make people happy, right?
Right.
Wrong. Obi-Wan.
So what is your feeling? We're up through 5 episodes now. Episode 5. We've seen Vader now. Confrontation between him and Obi-Wan.
I will say, of the 5 episodes that have come out with this series, this week's one was probably one I liked a little bit more. But again, we're going to if I'm going to use my Disney hypothesis, I think this is slotted for 8 episodes or 6 episodes.
6, I think.
Okay, so next week's our last one. Which means, yes, the action should start picking up. Yes, we'll only have one more episode to watch, so it'll be jam-packed with everything that they should have been doing the previous 5 episodes.
Yeah, it's been a pretty slow burn. And as I told you a couple of weeks ago, I fully anticipated that Obi-Wan would be better than Strange New Worlds.
Wrong.
Because generally that's what we've seen. The start, and well, in fairness, they're different products.
They are.
You know, where Star Wars is space fantasy, and science fantasy, I should say, whereas Star Trek is science fiction. So they're a little bit different. But Strange New Worlds has been far better than Obi-Wan.
I mean, if you just, obviously, since they're two, so you can't compare apples to oranges on this one. But if you're just looking at it, what's giving you? If I'm going to spend 40 to 50 minutes sitting down and watching TV to watch an episode of something, I feel like I get more bang for my buck out of watching a new episode of The Strange New Worlds than I do with Obi-Wan. Just because Obi-Wan doesn't seem to have, for me, a very compelling story. I'm not really drawn into it. You've got this cast. I mean, the actors that are in that cast are great. I mean, you've seen them in so many other things. A lot of them come over from Game of Thrones. You've got Ewan McGregor. You've got Aiden Christensen back. You got all the big names back. So what's that tell you? That's probably a bad script.
Yeah. Well, and I would agree with that. The script is not compelling.
No.
I just haven't, and that character, what is it, Reva or Reba?
Reva.
Reva, yeah. I will tell you, I do not like that character.
No.
And then when I heard, here in the last few days or last week, that they're planning on spinning her off into her own series, I went, well, thanks for letting me know, because I will not be there.
Right.
She just does not drive it at all. Here you've got Vader and all he conveys, and the whole thing is, I expected it to center on Vader. That's not been the case at all. It's centering on her. And I could give a crap about that character. I just don't care.
She's not a very compelling actress, excuse me. But I've seen her in other things. She's a great actress. Just in this role.
That's the script.
Yeah, but I'm just saying in this, it doesn't draw me in. It doesn't, I mean, even if you have a good evil person, they still draw you in. I mean, heck, you got Vader. I mean, who is
that's a great example.
The epitome of an on-screen villain.
Yep. And you got James Earl Jones back doing the voice again.
Exactly.
So great.
Exactly. And then it's just,
I'm like, where is he? And then when you see him, it's him in the back to tank, with sans no armor on him.
Yeah, because then that's...
So you see him all scarred up in the back to tank. I'm like, who cares? What's showing that?
If I remember right in that scene, Obi-Wan, after he got drugged through the fire, because apparently you can defeat Vader with fire. According to that last episode, Obi-Wan's all bruised up, and so he's also in a back to tank, so they're drawing the comparison there. But I never expect warm and fuzzy when I see Vader. All I want is big, ominous, evil person. I mean, that's what Vader embodies, but I don't want to grow attached to Vader. I mean, he's not a character that... Now, he does, like, as you go through, like, Empire Strikes, Return of the Jedi and stuff.
Right.
I mean, he comes full circle there.
Right.
But what he was billed to be in this series, it's just, at this time, in the timeline, he's not that person.
Well, yeah, exactly. And they're wanting to make it darker, and they're wanting to make him more violent, and they show that. There's a scene where he's killing people within the last few episodes.
It was the last episode.
He's killing people in the village just because he can, and it's like, there still has got to be a reason. There's got to be something driving that character.
Yeah.
And there's just nothing there. It's this hatred. Okay, I get that hatred. But it's got to be more than just killing for the sake of killing.
Well, and that whole drive on, like, what's getting the Grand Inquisitors and that whole faction going, that's not really brought through with Vader. That's brought through with Reva.
Yes.
And I mean, she's, night and day difference between the rest of the Grand Inquisitors on how they want to go about, hunting down remaining Jedi. I mean, she's just like, I'm going to do what I want. I got to manipulate whoever the heck I want. I'm going to kill whoever I want. I'm going to whatever to whoever. Whereas the other ones are like, no, we have to be methodical about it. You know, there's a way. So.
Because I almost thought that's what they should have called the series rather than Obi-Wan.
Reva the Rage Sister?
Yeah, seriously.
Because
she seems to me more like the main character.
She does.
And it doesn't work for me.
Shocking. That's exactly what Disney did with Hawkeye.
I did not watch that. Sadly, you did.
Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. It's exactly what they're doing with Thor. It's exactly what they're doing with, they're setting up people. I forget what other superheroes they're setting up through the Marvel franchise to do that.
Setting up female characters to take the mantle.
Yes, I just wasn't going to say it. And then you got comments like what Steve says from YouTube. Vader without a long distance chokehold's like a day without sunshine. I mean, that's what you really want to see. And I couldn't agree with them more. Oh, thanks, Steve. Yeah, I forgot about that one. Shrek Hulk. That one's coming out here in a couple weeks.
What's coming out?
Shrek Hulk, also known as She-Hulk Lawyer.
That's right. Yeah.
Looks more like a revamped Shrek.
Yeah, another Marvel property I'll not be watching. Thank you.
Oh, good gravy.
I mean, I just watched the preview for that and I'm like, no.
Why?
What is this?
No.
She-Hulk attorney at law? What the hell?
Go watch some old Matlock or something. Or Law and Order or something.
with some Vader breathing over the top and
Oh. Well, we're talking about a bunch of spin-off series. I just saw this like right before we logged on tonight.
What's that?
This was a tweet. Let's see, I zoom.
Oh, these are all the new Star Wars series that they're planning to come out with.
Yeah. So these are all the new Star Wars franchises that are slated to come out through, it looks like about 20. The only ones that have dates on them are through 2023, and then there's probably 10 that don't. So You're looking probably through 2025, 2026 would be my guess. But it's crazy. This is just what's coming out. It's kind of hard to read, so I'll kind of read it. But you got Star Wars, or this is a Lego movie, so I mean, I'll give them that one. Lego movies are fun, but that's coming out in August. End of August, you got that Andor. We had talked about that a couple weeks ago. The previews for that are out. It's on, you can find it on YouTube or Disney Plus or wherever. Fall of this year, you still have Tales of the Jedi, The Bad Batch. I think that's a new season for that animated series.
show. Yeah.
And there again, you've got a young girl helping all these clone troopers who are supposed to be the elite group.
Right.
For special talents. Even yet this year, you also got Star Wars Hunters. I have no idea what that one's supposed to be about. February, we get in The Mandalorian. I mean, it just goes on and on.
You're kind of losing your taste for The Mandalorian, too. You've kind of been...
I like
not
the first
too
season.
excited about it.
Second season, it was okay, and then it just... I don't know. It's just lackluster, and I don't know. I don't like it. I mean, I might be interested in the Ahsoka one coming up. She's got a pretty interesting storyline.
Yes.
And the Old Republic one might be something I'd be interested in. I had also heard rumors on... I don't remember where I read that. I sent the article to you today, but I don't have it in my stack of stuff here. But it's rumored, I think Variety or... I can't remember what publication put it out. There's rumors that Disney may actually remake the original trilogy, which would just be a sin.
Yeah, that would be a big no thank you for me.
Yeah. But yeah, so you got all these series coming out probably within the next, I don't know, few years. But
yeah, and I see the previews for the Andor.
Andor, yep.
And I thought, yeah, and then I thought, yeah, well, I thought the same thing with Obi-Wan, and that is not delivered at all. I just don't expect that any of these are going to deliver on the franchise as it was intended.
No. Yeah, no, it's just there's nothing really there that I'm maybe one or two, but that would be about it. And again, I don't know which one of these are live action, which ones are animated.
Right.
But I can tell you Bad Batch is probably about the only one I know. And probably Young Jedi Adventures. But yeah. So
yeah, that's a ton of properties.
And that kind of leads me into our next one. We're just kind of going downhill here today.
Yeah. Through no fault of our own.
No, my own. So I took Friday off from work and I'm like, I'm gonna check out this Miss Marvel, see what this is all about.
How much did you actually watch?
I watched the entire episode. So, I mean, to be fair, I watched...
Is that all that's out right now is one
it's
episode?
Just one. Yeah, it just aired first last week. It's... For what it is, it's okay. Because, think about it this way. You can't think of it as part of the Marvel franchise. You need to think about it as in the old school Disney Channel, kind of preteen teen shows that they did.
Right.
The coming of age. I guess that's the genre. That's more what it is. I would not, bill it as a Marvel. I mean, they're using that to set it up so that I suppose they can get somebody to watch it. I don't know. But it's about a girl just finding her own, that kind of thing. It's so, I don't know. I don't know where they're going to take it with the Marvel thing because it's not like an alternative universe thing.
You are such a softy for that touchy-feely stuff.
Oh, yes.
Anyway.
Yeah, no.
That is not you.
Nope. Like I said, I just wanted to watch it, give it a fair shake, but
right.
No. Don't even.
Yeah. I was not at all surprised when you told me that. I was surprised that you had watched it. But yeah, it's there was nothing. Now, in fairness, I also understand they're not trying to appeal to me either.
No.
I'm not the target audience for that show.
No.
So in fairness, it doesn't make much sense for me to watch it and tear it apart and so on.
I mean, if you've got a young person at home, I'm not a kids person, so if you got a young creature at home, then have them watch it.
Would my granddaughter like it?
No. Your granddaughter has far too much sense to be able to watch that. She knows what's good and what's bad.
Yeah, she's pretty sharp.
Third generation nerd there. But
that's
yeah,
true.
There's better stuff on even Disney Plus than that to be able to watch. So,
well, thank you for sparing me having to watch Miss Marvel because that was not on my list.
Should have made you feel really bad. I took vacation days. Laid on good and super thick.
Yeah, that's having zero effect.
So you had this episode, or you had this article from Chris Evans, or about Chris Evans.
Yeah, can you pull that up? Because I thought this was kind of made me laugh. The headline, as you see here, Chris Evans responds to seemingly edited Disneyland photos. Have you ever noticed that Chris Evans is standing with his hands in his pockets all the time? And they show photos from over the years. And there are a number of them that basically he looks like a cardboard cutout. And you could, what was hilarious then were there you go, right there. Shots. People just started putting him into
it's like Elf on a Shelf.
Pretty funny.
Or Flat Stanley.
Yeah. He just stands there with his hands in his pockets and he said afterward, no, that's actually me. That's not a pose. That's not, they didn't paste me in. That's actually me. And then there was a series of photos where they went and over, if you can find it, Katie, they show him over a period of years, and it's that same pose. Him with his hands in his pockets.
I don't think I pulled the right article. Not in here. It's just all these meme shots at the bottom.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's one from like 2016, 2018, 2022.
And in every one, he's standing there with his hands in his pocket.
Yeah.
Which is kind of odd, but that's his thing, I guess. So
it'll make you laugh.
I love the memes that people are coming up with. Funny.
So, Greg, how long has it been since we dumped Netflix?
Been what now? Several months at least since we dumped. Yeah,
month,
2 months. No,
2 months.
I think it's been a couple of months.
Have we survived?
Have I? Yes. What about you?
Well,
you're already talking about getting it back to watch some stuff.
But I'm getting it back like I get back every other streaming service we have.
Talk about that.
So I don't know. Since I've started getting streaming services, I don't keep them for any length of time. I don't subscribe and forget about them. If there are 2 or 3 shows I want to see, I wait till those 2 or 3 shows are all out. Then I subscribe and I watch them all in a month, and I probably cancel it a month or 2, depending if I find anything else. Like Showtime, I'll probably pick that up again here in a little while.
Billions,
yep.
I bet.
Billions is on there.
Yep.
I love Billions.
That's a good show.
It is. But there's some new stuff that was out on Netflix that was releasing later than when we canceled it. I might pick it up for a month here or there. That's it. I think because the only ones right now we keep with any regularity are pretty much HBO.
Yes.
And
Paramount Plus.
And
Disney.
And
then I've got a service I buy mostly for old television. Friendly TV, I pay for that.
And then right now we have Disney Plus, but again, I only have it right now because we were looking forward to Obi-Wan, which, yeah. So it looks like I can dump that by the end of this month. Because there's nothing else coming out that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, and there's really nothing on there that I've been watching.
No.
Other than Obi-Wan.
Right. I've been going back and watching like Clone Wars and stuff like that. But
sure.
Still have to finish up Rebels, which is actually quite good. But yeah, so surprising. We are surviving.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we'll be okay. And we also ditched Sling even, which we were.
Yeah, which had some live TV on it.
Right.
And I picked up Friendly, which does have some live TV on it. But we had Sling previously. I purchased that for news.
Yeah.
And I consume a lot of news in my regular job. And I just thought, you know what? Especially with the way things are going right now, I can stand time away from the news. So I appreciate a lot of the old television shows. I'm watching a lot of, for instance, MASH. I'm still a fan of MASH. I have been for years. I enjoy watching that. The old Perry Mason show is one that I really, really enjoy. A lot of Bob Newhart show is one I watch. So there's a lot of old Star Trek, a lot of old stuff like that I really enjoy.
What? Well, there you go. Our social experiment. We haven't mutinied. We haven't. What do you have on a rundown this week, Greg?
We do the rundown every week. These are kind of odds and ends and bits and pieces all throughout fandom. Actor Ezra Miller of The Flash is accused now of grooming a 12-year-old with LSD, alcohol, and gifts when he was 23. She was 12. He was 23. They apparently met when Miller was attending the Standing Rock protests in North Dakota up in 2016.
The DAPL ones.
Yeah. A new Ghostbuster animated series is on the way to the aforementioned Netflix. No details yet, so we don't know if the show is going to be based on the original stars characters or is it Ghostbusters Afterlife? Really don't know. No details yet. Speaking of Netflix, a Knives Out sequel. Will you remember Knives Out? We watched that. You would not recommend it, in other words.
That's another one. You've got amazing cast of characters.
Absolutely.
Or excuse me, amazing cast of actors. But again, the writing was just lackluster.
So I was not too excited to hear that a Knives Out sequel is going to be coming out over the holidays. It'll be called Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. Also, Kevin Conroy. Batman fans will recognize him as the actor who did the voice in Batman the Animated Series. He has written a short comic for DC Pride Month, and he thanked all his fans. A pretty touching video, I thought, thanking fans for their support. As we told you a few weeks ago, Michael Keaton will be appearing as Batman in the upcoming movie The Flash. Keaton told The Hollywood Reporter that during 1989's Batman, before the movie came out, Jack Nicholson told him, Keats, if this thing's a hit, you can go out and do 4 or 5 flops, not even worry about it. Nicholson told him. And Keaton says, that's just not the case anymore. You could at that time. But he says, just not the case anymore. You make a flop and nobody wants anything to do with you. And then Joker 2 is out. What's the new title of Joker 2?
It's got a French title, and I am not savvy French, but here I will.
Oh, I got you. The Joker was a phenomenal film. I really liked it. I liked the direction they went. And to bring back the original actor and to tell more of that story, I look forward to that.
It's Joker 2's confirmed director reveals working title, and Joaquin Phoenix is returning.
Yep.
Because they just put the script together. Oh, here we go. There you go. You can see it right on there. Spoiler.
Yeah.
Anybody who can speak French or is remotely close to even knowing what that means, going to be like cringe.
And that's a rundown for this week.
We always post a bunch of stuff generally through the week on usually Twitter. Just stuff we find, stuff we think you guys might be
grabs our
interested in.
attention.
So it's kind of one-stop shop. So that, it's what time it is now, Greg.
Time for the Cave of Wonders.
The Cave of Wonders.
Huh? Cave of Wonders?
I wanted to give you a view of some of the collectibles that I have in glass display cases. And these are figures, they look like, old timers like me remember the Mego figures that were a big deal in the 60s and 70s. Well, Mego is still around. They're still producing figures, and they've greatly updated them. So here you've got figures from Batman, the original television series, Batman 66, and you can see a lot of them there. I've got the majors right up front, and then Mr. Freeze and Egghead and King Tut and Shame. They're all there. And then there is Batman and Robin, Alfred, and Batgirl are all there. In the background, if you can see a little bit, is the Batmobile, and the atomic pile is in the background. And then up front, you can see the shark repellent bat sprays. There's a number of different bat sprays that are there. You can see the bat cuffs, the batarangs are on the table there, the bat phone under the acrylic. And that's actually from the commissioner's office. The commissioner's got that acrylic dome over the bat phone. So that's a broader look at some of the stuff that I've got.
Now I got to say, you got something creative right there in that set. You got creative with how you set that up.
Very much so. I spent a lot of time, as you know, on that.
Specifically the table.
Yeah, that took me a little bit of time. Almost, you know what? And I'll tell you where the table came from. That little table.
Yeah.
That is from WWF
Yep.
figures. Because it's remember that they're always hitting each other with the table. So this was a folding table. It folds up. So what I bought, because it was the right scale. It was exactly what I needed.
Right.
So I bought the WWF table, and that's what I laid all the bat gear on.
I thought that was really creative.
Well, thank you very much. I searched hard for that to find something that would work. Oh, and you can see the bazooka down underneath.
Yep. Now you need Steve's saying you need a miniature phaser tricorder in with all its.
Well, I've got all that too.
Well, there you go for this week's Cave of
The
Wonders.
Cave of Wonders.
Huh? Cave of Wonders?
What are you looking forward to watching this week, Greg?
Honestly, you know what you and I need to go see is Top Gun.
Definitely.
Because we talked about it over the weekend, and unfortunately we didn't make it to the theaters, but everybody that I have talked to says good things about Top Gun.
Yes.
So that's one I would like for, I think you and I would have a great time at that movie.
Yeah, I love the original. It's so good.
Yeah.
And again, yeah, I've heard nothing but good things for the second or for the reboot. So definitely have to check it
Otherwise,
out.
it's watching another episode of Obi-Wan. Do I have to?
But on the positive side, Thursday, Star Trek Strange New Worlds comes out.
Yes.
Also, I'm looking forward to catching up on some of the new episodes of The Boys.
Yeah. And we actually started that a couple of weeks ago, and I watched, how many did we watch? 2 or 3?
3.
I think I watched, the first 3 episodes of this season. At least I did. You were there for part of it.
I got a bad habit of falling asleep.
That's all right. That's all right. It's, The Boys is one of those films, or excuse me, one of those series that, oh my God, at times it's just like, oh my God, that's grotesque. And then the show will just have you laughing out loud in the next moment. You just don't expect that. The humor of that show is pretty good. And I like Carl Urban.
Earlier we were talking about, how we don't want to see the grotesque violence or the just meaningless violence out of Darth Vader. If you want meaningless violence, you go watch The Boys.
You'll get more than your share of meaningless violence. There's like, holy moly, and it's just graphic as hell.
It's definitely rated R.
Yeah. But I would, Carl Urban, I think is great as, get the character's first name. Billy Butcher.
Yeah. The guy who plays,
he's really good.
Who's the other Star Trek character that's in that one from the movies?
Oh,
he's the dad.
Scotty. It's the guy who plays Scotty.
So
yeah, he's pretty funny. He's
just a milquetoast dad.
Totally lame character. Yeah. Typical father. So I think, is that all we've got going on this week?
That's all we got.
Well, thank you, my friend, so much for joining us. As always, we really appreciate it. If you enjoy what we're doing, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. We love the comments. And thank you so much to those of you who are watching and sharing your thoughts with us as we're going. We really get a kick out of that. And I don't catch all your comments while we're doing it. I go back and read them all later. So thank you so much for participating. We really do appreciate it. So that'll be it until next time. Same bad time.